Good morning. We are in John 5 and W words, yes, starting with my height, 5'4". And there were people who were sick by this pool, and we heard of the pool of Bethesda, and there were like porches, 5 porches that led up to the pool. Well, anyway, there were people who were sick, impotent, and they would wait for the water to move to get some healing. That's where we get weighed in the water, right? Because God's going to heal and make whole. And it says in verse 4, for an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole of whatsoever disease he had, whatever infirmity. Guess what? Get up! Because this is a new day. We know that we had a holiday yesterday, but you have been made whole by faith in the Lord, and we have a great work to do. I know it feels like a Monday. I know, believe me, I only had a few hours of sleep, but the verse 8 spoke to me. Rise up, take up thy bed, right? Take up thy cot, take up thy pillow, okay? Make it up and get to walking. Right? Get to running, get to being active, because you must work the work while it is day. For when night cometh, no man can work. And then in verse 17, my Father, Jesus speaking, my Father worketh hitherto, and I work. The Lord tells us what to do. He is our ultimate boss, our manager, and he tells us the strategies and the way to carry out his tasks. So we give an account, and we're responsible to him. My pastor preached about that Sunday as far as how Daniel was promoted by King Darius because he was responsible, he was accountable, and he was extraordinary. Don't you want that to be said about you as an employee? Yes. And then in verse 20, God will show greater works than these, that we may marvel, right? For the Father loveth the Son and showeth him all things that himself doeth, right? The Lord will show us what he wants accomplished today. Trust in him, yield everything to him. And in verse 30, I can of mine own do nothing myself, right? We are puny, we're flesh, we're just clay, okay? As I hear, I judge, right? And maybe for you, as you hear, you cook. Maybe for someone else, as you hear, you sweep. As you hear, you mop. As you hear, you teach. Whatever is your job, listen to the Lord. And my judgment is just. Make sure that the product of your work is fair. It is honoring God. But the will of the Father, which has sent me, that's all that matters, is that we do his will. And in verse 44, we only seek the honor that cometh from God. That's it. And Lord woke me up a few hours, maybe 3 a.m, and he had me read Dr. Martin Luther King's speech to a group of junior high school students back in October 1967. And the name of the speech is called, What is Your Blueprint? You all have heard of that. And it was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And since this time, the school has closed. But something that stuck with me, there are 4 points. But the first point that Dr. King said, as far as our life's work, number 1, in your life's blueprint, right? God is our ultimate architect, and he will show us the design, what he wants accomplished. He said, number 1 in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth. And we know that our worth comes from the Lord, the honor that is in verse 44. And your own somebodyness, right? He made us valuable. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. Don't allow anyone to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance. You have that type of significance because God is in you and he wants you to do a mighty work today. So remember that you are whole, right? You are well. You have a work to do. You want to do his will. Get up and walk. and know that he will ultimately get all the worth, the glory for your life. Enjoy.